I didn't realize how tired I was. I didn't I can say I'm tired. I can acknowledge I'm tired, but I didn't acknowledge to the extent in which I was tired and tired of living. I was just tired of life. And all I could think about is death. I'm okay with not being okay. Sorry, Caiah. Sorry to everyone. Sorry to God. I'll do better. I'll try to do better.
I feel like in recent history, I feel like we've moved the most further and further away from a just and compassionate and humane society.
What was your first experience of racism?
People don't like us.
Context: my father's colored and my mom is Zulu, right? And we're chocolate skinned kids, And as soon as we enter the pool area, I jump into the pool. I'm like, I've been waiting for this moment. When I jump in, the white kids jump out, their family packs their things, and they leave.
Hello, hi to go, Mammi, Dearest.
Hi, I'm Caiah, aka Adi.
And welcome to Thought Digest, where we
amplify conversations
one thought at a time. Welcome.
Hey guys, 2 episodes a week.
What are you? What?
Where are we? What is this?
Guys,
Merry Christmas in March.
Thank you so much for watching our podcast and interacting. Please do, guys, because that's why you guys are able to get goodies like this.
Yeah.
When you guys interact with our podcast, and now we're doing well. It's doing well for itself.
Plus, we're making up for uploading late.
Yeah.
So you decided,
let's just back to back. I'm sure they're gonna have the shock of their life.
I'm telling you.
And this is
and it's gonna be a surprise. Is it gonna be a surprise notification? We'll see. We'll see.
It's gonna be nice because this is the most recent life updates you guys are ever getting.
Oh yeah, this is in real time.
Yeah, this is real time.
This is real time.
We haven't done real time in a minute.
Yeah,
we haven't done real time. How have you been? I haven't seen Caiah in 2 weeks.
2?
3?
More than that. 2.
2.
Oh, I wouldn't know. My sense of time is very warped, so I don't know what's happening. The way I'm able to differentiate weeks is when we shoot. So if I don't know where I am.
You
just
going.
But I'm well. I'm good. I'm really, really good. I'm really good. I'm excited.
Really, really good is very key.
Yeah. I'm cool. I'm I'm taking things easy. I think I've been doing I spent a lot of time alone in the past 2-3 weeks, which was absolutely necessary because, I wasn't spending enough time. I wasn't spending any time alone at all. And I've been spending time with my loved ones as well, particularly my younger sister. She came over to visit and she's been so awesome to have around. It's nice to have a little sister. You can just send her, mid-conversation, but she's also really cool. She's very mature for an 18-year-old. She turned 18 today. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Really,
happy
really
birthday
exciting.
to her.
Happy birthday, Cece.
Please tell her I said happy
I
birthday.
will. I'm nothing much.
Are you excited to turn 23?
I'm terrified to turn 23. It feels like, now get a move on things, bro. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And I know it's very what's the word? Shouldn't be that way. 23 is still very young. But it's also I'm not 17 anymore. Something's got to give. A lot of the way that my life is right now doesn't feel any different from how it was a year ago, 2 years ago, which is a bit problematic. So that's what turning 23 feels like. It feels like I need to make a massive change, and I don't know what that massive change is. I am going away for my birthday.
Yes.
I am going to George in the Western Cape.
Oh,
my birthday. Yeah, courtesy of my friend Keeks. I'm going with her. She surprised me with the birthday trip. Before you guys think I'm a millionaire.
That is so
and I'm always
cute.
traveling. Yeah, so I'm excited for that. It's low-key it's a birthday vacation, but it's also a content-cation because
you gotta
work. Keep spanning,
you gotta work.
I'm good. I think what has really changed my perspective over the past few weeks was something I'm always always on social media, unfortunately. Well, not always. My screen time has reduced a little bit over the past 2 weeks. But the time that I have spent on social media, I came across this video of this man saying, the thing that you want is usually not the thing that you actually want. It's what you think is behind that thing that you want. Does that make sense? So it's not necessarily the car and the house that you want. It's what you think is on the other side of the car and the house.
What it means
that you
to have
actually
the
want.
car in the
Does
house.
Does it mean,
Financial freedom?
Financial freedom? Does it mean a sense of success? Does it mean validation from others? Does it mean feeling like you've succeeded? You know what I'm saying? So it made me interrogate the things that I actually want. Like the life that I want on the outskirts, away from everyone, is that the life that I actually want, or do I want what I think is on the other side of that, which is peace? And peace can be attained away from all of that. Like the thing that we've done wrong as a generation is thinking that our happiness or internal things are contingent or reliant on external
factors.
Like I think I'm going to feel peace when I have that house in the middle of nowhere, when in actual fact what I have, or it's already in me. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny enough that like I'm coming to this realization now, but I always say that the secret to having it all is knowing you already do. And that's to say that what you need, what you actually want, what you desire, your dream is within you. You know, the secret to having it all is knowing you already do. So I'm good, man. I'm so good.
That's amazing. Yo, whatever I've been up to for the past. I feel like I went through like 3 midlife crises.
Crises.
I went through like 3 midlife crises. I deleted all my former YouTube videos. My YouTube is blank. I deleted almost all my Instagram posts. I feel like that was like mild. What I actually wanted to do was actually delete the platform, delete my Instagram. You know, that's how I was feeling, you know?
Why?
And it came from a place where, how can I put it? When I felt that way in the moment, I actually didn't know why I wanted to do that. Okay. You know? And my restraint was just deleting all the videos. Right?
Delete, or did you archive?
I archived. But they're not coming back for a while. Okay. But like my form of restraint was just like closing a chapter in all those videos. And
I'm not sure I understand.
In the moment, I didn't understand why I wanted to do that and why I felt like it. Okay. And then after like being interrogated by my friend Adeola and everything like that, like, why would you do that? Why did you make that decision? I actually had to now speak and internalize why I made that decision. And I was like, I just felt like I have not allowed myself to grow. And part and parcel of the reason why I've not allowed myself to grow or necessarily accepted the person I am now is because there's so many reminders of who I was. And people were not letting me grow. Like, if I make a change, if I do something different, like, even though people never explicitly said that, oh my God, this is different from what you're doing. But I could see by the way they engaged in my content. I know immediately if I go back to doing the vlogs the way I did 4 years ago, they'd get engagement. If I do a vlog the way that makes sense for who I am now, it won't get engagement. So I think I needed to just scrap all of that so that I could tell myself that I'm fine with letting that person go. I'm fine with not receiving validation of who I am now with my audience now, you know? And it's my way of just moving forward and just becoming the woman I am now, you know? Not the woman I thought I would be when I was 22, not the girl I was when I was 18, but the woman I am now. The space I'm in now, you know, and I'm in a space where my interests are different. What I want to show about my life is different. How I want to show my life is different. It has changed so much. Like, I want to be so loud and proud about like Christ. And the audience I garnered over the years isn't an audience who takes lightly to that. And it's a thing of like, I just had to accept that and let them go so that I can propel forward and move forward with life. So that's me in terms of social media. And then me in terms of me, I think I didn't realize how tired I was. I didn't like, I can say I'm tired. I can like acknowledge I'm tired, but I didn't acknowledge to the extent in which I was tired and tired of living. I was just tired of life. And all I could think about is death because I need to know what comes after. So I'm able to let go of where I am now, meaning let go of life. And that's where I was. And it just took a lot of God, and a lot of like, I guess, sitting and dealing with those thoughts to kind of accept and be okay with not being okay. Yeah. And that's what I needed to do. I needed to be okay with not being okay.
And where are you now?
I'm okay with not being okay. Yeah.
Where is my handbag?
Somewhere far.
There, right by you. There's tissue in there.
Yeah, I'm okay with not being okay. Yeah.
And what are you gonna do about not being okay?
I was telling a friend of mine, I was like,
You can bring it in.
I was telling a friend of mine that part and parcel of why I never really speak about how I feel or what I'm going through is because I don't like talking about a problem no one can fix. I think it's the type A personality in me. It's like, okay, if it's something that I know you can fix, I'd come and say, Caiah, this is what I'm going through, knowing that you have the plan, you have the solution to fix my problem. If it's something that I'm not doing, I know that I can speak about it because it's something I'm not doing and I can just do to fix the problem. But the bulk of where my exhaustion comes from is something that I can't do anything about. And the only person who can do something about it is God. And it's a thing of just like, what I'm doing about it is trusting God again, trusting Him again, and trusting that He may not provide the solution in the way I want it, or He may not provide the solution when I want it. But at the end of the day, whatever He decides, I must just trust in that decision. Yeah.
Okay. Trusting God is a rigorous process.
It's not easy. It's hard.
Yeah. Because for you to trust Him about something, you have to give it up. So, I'm confident in your ability to trust, but communicate.
Yeah, ish. Yeah. Yeah. You see, I wasn't even talking to God. So I was like, a lot of people that I care about have suffered through the season I've been in a sense where they felt like I didn't value their relationships because I didn't trust them, trust them to help me, trust them to listen, trust them to comfort me. Comfort is something I find very difficult to receive. So I didn't even trust them to comfort me. And it's a thing of like, I've heard like 4 people come to me and say, nah. So I've had a phase where I'm just like, yeah, Start doing something about it. Like when you feel like you shouldn't talk to anyone, that's when you should talk to someone. Just getting into the habit of doing that. Because a lot of people, my mom has suffered. My mom is like, you don't talk to me anymore. A lot of people.
Okay. Are you coming too? It's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. And I'm glad, like, you're realizing that you do have a support system.
I do. And it's a support system of very powerful women that I love and care about. And I just have to let them love me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Just let them love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Tough life update, y'all. But the episode is going to be very exciting.
Oh, wow.
See, this is my deflecting, by the way.
Stellar deflection. Hello.
This is how I deal with problems. I shed like 2 tears and I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go.
Okay, closing thoughts.
I'm sorry to all the people I love. I'm sorry, Caiah. Sorry to everyone. Sorry to God. I'll do better. I'll try to do better.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Hate it when you do that. Like, don't worry about me. I'm okay, y'all. All right, let's move into our girl chat segment. We've got some exciting news for you. KFC is bringing their finger-licking good vibes to Bloemfontein from the 20th to the 30th of March with their Kentucky Town pop-up experience.
Yeah, you guys get to try out some of our favorite things from the menu, like the dunked wings, but there's also some new stuff like the Zinger Braai burger and something I have with me right now, the Shimmer Crusher.
Also, in addition to the menu, they have some amazing activities for you to participate in. They have the AI selfie pod in their bucket corner, and also you can chill out in the ASMR pod as well. So if you like the sounds, go ahead.
Or you can interact with the corner cam at the pop-up and stand a chance to win 4,000 Rand vlogging kit by literally posting it on social media and tagging KFC.
For my Josie people, if you're feeling a little left out, that's okay. You can stand a chance to win a hoodie with us right now by commenting your favorite menu item. My personal favorite are the cola dunked wings, but if you don't have Caiah Ev's taste, that's all right. Comment your favorite and we'll pick a winner at random. The KFC Kentucky Town Bloemfontein experience is the pop-up you don't want to miss.
Yeah,
be there or be told. Guys, for our girl chat segment, we're joined by Samantha Mashaba from Nelson Mandela Foundation. She is a dialogue and advocacy analyst.
Yeah.
How are you? Welcome. Welcome.
I'm a bit nervous.
Why?
You're nervous.
Okay, I'm not nervous.
Why?
Thanks.
Okay,
now
good.
I'm not nervous. After you said that, I'm not
the
nervous.
nerves are
Yes.
gone.
Completely. So thanks for that. That was helpful.
All right.
Yeah.
Besides being nervous, you're right.
I'm okay, thank you.
Happiness. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit more about what you do at the Nelson Mandela Foundation.
Sure. So I work in the dialogue and advocacy unit at the
Okay.
foundation. And the work that we are focused on are advocacy efforts around Palestinian liberation. We do work around early childhood development as well as a little bit of land work. Not a little bit, actually. We do work around land reform as well. And so my role is to kind of join the dots of, I would say, what's happening out in the world, rather, and what ways we can best use our skills and expertise within the foundation to mobilize the legacy of Madiba and really bring us closer to a more compassionate and just society.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that answers your question of what I do. What does it?
It
Okay,
really
great.
does. It really-
Okay.
How long have you been in the foundation?
So the foundation was actually my first job after varsity. I started as an intern. I was an intern for 2 years, and then my contract ended. I then got a job somewhere else. So I was away for like 10 months, and then I came back because My
They
heart
needed
was
you.
longing for the NMF.
Do that.
No, my heart was longing for the NMF. I've been very lucky to work in an incredible team and with incredible people in general at the foundation, and the work is just so important. And I've always just been lucky to be doing work or projects around things that are close to my heart, like ECD or early childhood development. And now we've been able to expand into global justice, and so that's where work around Palestine kind of falls under. So yeah, so I've been here since 2019. And then away for 10 months, and then
back.
Then I was back, and then I'm here. Yeah.
I literally just checked you out on LinkedIn right now.
Oh, LinkedIn.
I feel like LinkedIn is the best place to find out a little bit about somebody. And I saw that you are passionate. That's what you said on LinkedIn.
Okay.
You are passionate to kind of like be a part of the conversation and be a part of a movement to make South Africa more equitable.
Yes.
Equitable is the right word. Equitable and just for everyone.
Yes.
So I feel like you are then perfect to have this conversation around human rights and having you here on this month, and the whole month we've been talking about human rights. So I'm very excited to have you. I'm so excited for your thoughts even. I'm very excited.
Thank you. Very sweet.
Well, I did share, guys, for you.
Sorry, I never know which camera do I look at.
I can look at the one in the middle.
Yeah.
No, actually,
this is your camera. And then if you want to speak directly to them, this is your camera. When we're talking, that's our camera.
Yeah. Okay, you can just look at us.
Yeah, you can literally look at us the whole time.
Topic for the segment. Yes. Our topic for the segment is how the youth expresses itself in the context of human rights in South Africa. And you said something really interesting when I was sharing like the brief of the conversation with you, when you said you feel like we're not actually doing enough. Right? And like I said, like she said, it's been Human Rights Month, and we've been I think we spoke about last week or the week prior, we were talking about what is it called? Appropriation versus appreciation. We've spoken about teenage pregnancy, you know, and the factors that contribute to teenage pregnancy rates. I think we also briefly touched on gender-based violence. So we have been quite vocal, but I feel like your voice is necessary for the other side of the conversation, that maybe we're not doing enough.
So I think that, I don't know, when I think about what, you know, so human rights, the 21st of March is a day where we kind of commemorate or reflect back on what happened in Sharpeville. And just thinking about that period and that set of events, and looking at where we are now as a society, not just in our own country but globally, it just, I don't know, I feel it's very difficult to be optimistic. It's I feel like in recent history, I feel like we've moved the most further and further away from a just and compassionate and humane society.
What makes you say that?
I mean, I feel like the value that we put on a life, on Black and brown people's lives, we're just incredibly dehumanized. And I think about all the progress we've made around, you know, just being more tolerant, and understanding of our differences, that has kind of been chipped away by different things. So it's like there's like different corners of society where you just see all those that progress kind of declining. So I know a recent one could be around the murder of the first openly gay imam. And a lot of the time you think about things around the queer community and South Africa, and we're very progressive, you know. It's nothing like places like Uganda or stuff like that, where people could be, you know, killed, you know, for being gay or openly gay. And then you witness something like that, and you kind of then confused about like, oh, I thought this is something that we've kind of moved towards, where we're, more understanding, more just, there are laws that protect queer people, and then there's an event that happens like that and you're kind of like taken aback, and it's like it just kind of shakes your understanding of where we are and the work that we've done. And then you look at what's been happening with AfriForum, and the divisions that have been exacerbated because of the narratives that they've been sharing in our country and internationally as well. And it's kind of scary. Like it's heartbreaking, because I feel like we're not disillusioned and thinking that our country is perfect, but I feel like we're getting to or working towards, because I feel like it's constant work and effort, where we're trying to build bridges, and build bridges and understand each other more, like, and whether it's race, whether it's gender, whether it's sexuality, whether it's different backgrounds, class. I feel like we've all been under this, vision where we're trying to be a more inclusive rainbow nation, yeah, and just to see how easily that work can be broken down, that's scary to me. And I think that it just is a testament to the constant commitment we all have to be making for a just future. The work is never done, and the work will never be done. Free societies don't exist.
Yes.
Freedom is something that you're constantly working towards. And so I think the onus is on us, and we have such a big responsibility now. If you're talking about the climate, if you're talking about just basic human rights, everything just feels like it's all happening all at once, and it's all urgent. And it's tough to think about human rights and be optimistic about it, because there's still so much to be done.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, right, from speaking to you, is that I'm realizing that, it just dawned on me. I feel like the reason why you may see, and I also may see, that our generation and the youth is not doing enough in terms of human rights movements is because we are starting to live in a very individualistic society where everybody only cares about themselves. As long as that cause, that effect, what's happening in Palestine, what's happening in Congo, what's happening in the US, whatever is happening in the world doesn't affect me, I'm okay, and I don't care, and I don't need to speak about it.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to shatter, I guess, the image of perfection that we live in this perfect world. We don't want to shatter that for ourselves, so we close ourselves off from the rest of the world. But now, how do we pop those bubbles?
I think it's very interesting that you made that observation about individualistic, a state in which we, as society and people, we've grown further and further away from each other. And there's this quote that by Cornel West. He is an activist and a professor in the US, and he talks about how the essence of being a human being, but like the essence of being Black people in general, is around this understanding of love, right? Just the basic concept of love and loving one another, and how and Audre Lorde talks about this as well, about how our differences is what makes us better and stronger. It's like our superpower, and I think that one of the shortcomings of capitalism, of westernization, of this influence that moves the focus away from African values or South African values, is that those values kind of elevate this idea of individualistic goals, aspirations, where in reality we're all interconnected. And in order for us to find solutions to problems, in order to live a full life, that's only possible when we do it in community, and realizing our shared humanity, our similarities, the ways in which the values of Ubuntu, really, the fact that ke nna motho ka batho ba bangwe, motho ke motho ka batho ba bangwe, right? And so I think that is one of the things we have to grapple with amongst this poly crisis that we were constantly living in right now, is that people are not able to see beyond themselves, beyond their needs, and there are so many needs, and so it's understandable to have that type of viewpoint, but it's also very frightening to see that narratives around our country, that where we felt like we are trying to build we're on this nation building project that I think we all maybe thought we're all on the same page about, of like, no, we're trying to build a nation together, which is inclusive, and now we're
realizing
pedaling
that,
back,
no,
and it's like, no, actually that's not the project, we're not on the same page. We want to preserve this particular culture of people or fragment of society, and development and prosperity is not translated in a collective prosperity and human dignity and all of those things. So I agree with what you're saying, and I think that is one of the things we have to figure out, because I don't think we've gotten to a point where we're able to have the same vision as a people. I think we all thought we had the same vision. Clearly we don't.
Makes sense. I think also and I be backtracking a little bit, but hearing you speak, I think I've realized, amidst the conversation, that social media activism doesn't necessarily translate into real change, because on social media, we're very inclusive, we're very accommodating, and then in person is a whole different story, which is what I saw with the Imam story, where the people on social media were very accommodating of this person, and the conversation was always very inclusive. But the community he lived in was the complete opposite, right? And my question is, how are we aiding that translation? Saying, how are we continuing the legacy? How do you think the Nelson Mandela Foundation is actually translating, activism on social media into actual change?
So I think that a big part of any movement, in any struggle against oppression, it's multifaceted. So there isn't one way to deal with an oppressive system or inequality. So 100% the work that's been done around social media activism, I wouldn't discount that. I think that it plays a part in educating and communicating stories and experiences of people that would not be shared outside of social media. And so I think that's one way of looking at it. Another is that throughout my experience in the work that I've done at the foundation, is that action and dialogue and consultation and conversations work hand in hand when there's action after that, those dialogues and consultations. And one example of that is our work around early childhood development. So when I started at the foundation as an intern, we were really trying to really have the early childhood development was a program that was established at the foundation around 2018. And so we were still trying to find our feet and understand the landscape of that work, because it was a sector that we hadn't really gone into. And those first few years were informed by us having dialogues and discussions and consultations with ECD practitioners, so people who are on the ground doing that work, government, and other civil society organizations. And that was a lot of dialogue. That was a lot of consultations and research and reading and listening to what's going on and what the sector means and what is needed and where we can then plug in. And following that, something that kept emerging was the fact that in ECD, it's very hard for ECD centers in rural areas, in townships, in communities that are not as poor communities, right? It's harder for them to get registered and get funding with government because they simply cannot reach the norms and standards to get registered and access that funding. So it was a kind of a ridiculous thing to think about how the intention of the state is to register as many ECD centers so that they are delivering quality and access to all ECD centers in the country. But in order to get that access and support from government, you have to have A, B, C, D. But I can't have that because I'm poor.
Yes.
Exactly. So it was so now what that translated to is the work we've been doing around registration and policy work around streamlining our and making it easier and a developmental approach for ECD centers to get into the system and eventually access that funding from government to be able to provide quality service delivery of early childhood development, as well as making sure it's a dignified space for children to be able to learn. So that's one of them. Another is our work around Palestine, which is so exciting for me. So when we, after the 7th of October 2023, there was really a big need to respond to what was going on, which was a culmination of decades and decades of Israeli apartheid and the settler colonial regime that has been happening in Palestine. And so there has been consultations and events around bringing a little bit of like context to what's happening. So we've had things like film screenings. We've had events where we've co-led them with organizations such as the South African Jews for a Free Palestine, in order to, like I said, build bridges and try and advocate as much as we can for Palestinian rights. And what's that translated to? One example is right now we have an exhibition, a temporary exhibition that's around the UN Special Committee Against Apartheid, which was a UN committee that was established in 19... Gonna get this wrong. I want to say 1940 something. Might be wrong, or 1960 something.
We'll put the right one.
I am sorry.
It's okay.
But so that was a committee that was incredibly influential in mobilizing different states in the world to report on the atrocities that the South African government was doing in the country. It was also significant in the fact that they were able to get different countries to boycott and divest and sanction the South African state in order to put pressure on the government. And so that was something that we've been doing advocacy around with the UN, with DIRCO, to try and reestablish that committee for what's happening in Palestine, but also for any other form of oppression that has that embodies apartheid anywhere else in the world. I know that there's gender apartheid in Afghanistan, for instance. So those are kind of the things that we do around translating and balancing out dialogue, but also action and advocacy. Yeah.
I think to close off our conversation, how do you think the individual can partner with the Nelson Mandela Foundation?
The individual.
Yeah.
So I think a couple of ways. I would say we have a merch store that we're sitting in right now with beautiful t-shirts, amazing, incredible books by our founder Madiba. My current favorite book is Prison Letters. So letters he wrote while he was in prison. Just the most sincere, honest, vulnerable words and experiences with his loved ones. I think that's super powerful. That's my current favorite. So you can support, come to the store. We have a website as well. So you can, buy stuff, and you can also donate to the foundation. You can also engage in our work whenever we're having convenings or events. We're always trying to expand our reach to as many people as possible. The foundation is open to anyone and everyone to come and engage with Madiba's archives and to find inspiration and have a better understanding of maybe where we're trying to go as a society. But we also have research that we commission. I know that there's a couple of papers that we've commissioned around our land work. And so just really engaging with our work and having an understanding that this is a source. The NMF is a source to find inspiration and to kind of capacitate yourself on understanding what you can do in order to contribute to a just future. And I think that an example, for instance, is the current one we have, the Special Committee exhibition, the UN Special Committee exhibition. It actually talks about methods and ways that people were able to engage around resistance and social justice and protesting that, I think that could help us in informing how we show up for the moment that we are in society right now. Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. And you've given
I
such great cues for where to go from here.
Yes.
And how to be
so.
part of the change, be part of the movement. Thank you for providing perspective on where we are right now as a country, that it's not as, it's not as put together as we would like it. But you've shed some really, really bright light on what needs to be done and how our audience and other audiences can engage in, affecting.
I think just one last thing that I think also for people to just read more.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like we think we know what's going on, or rather, we'll feel like the problems that we're dealing with now, no other society or generation has ever dealt with. But you read and you go through history and you realize, oh, shoot, a lot of people have gone through the same things. A lot of the time, history repeats itself.
Yeah.
And so it's also just about really engaging with incredible authors and activists and leaders who have shaped our society right now, but who are able to lead generations of people out of oppression or different struggles, and actually reading that work. And I feel like sometimes with social media activism, we kind of think that, oh, I've read a tweet or I've seen this clip, so I know what's happening in the DRC. I know what's happening in Sudan. I know what's happening in Palestine. It's like, no, that's like not it's not sufficient.
Yeah.
And it's not what's gonna, it's a part of the puzzle piece. It's a part of the puzzle, but it's not the whole picture. So I would say like read.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it to even me. You know, like, yeah.
Same. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Close that off. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Nelson Mandela Foundation for hosting us. And thank you for making us a part of the movement.
Okay, great. It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Now girls' time segment is done. Guys, we're so sorry we can't have a game for you today because we
had a very
intense conversation with Sam.
Yes.
So, plus, I mean, we're closing off Human Rights Month, and I think we've played a lot of human rights games.
Oh, we have. We really have.
A lot of human rights games. But guys, before we move on into the long topic, comment down below like what you think April's theme is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes. Comment down below.
Because we had Love Unfiltered.
Yeah.
We had Human Rights. And April is why. I do know that I want to have a month where we just talk about sex, honestly.
I would love that.
I would love... It's not April, though. Sorry to disappoint. But I do want one where we tackle sex.
Yes.
Aspect, physical
aspect, the mental, emotional. No,
everything. I can't wait. The whole month in J, just know when thought I just was dropping it talking about sex. All right, our long topic, just give me a second, is
also
to do racial justice and mental health. How are they linked?
Guys,
what?
How I say my friends, I really look at Lisa. Like, I'm really distant with everyone.
Angry?
Like, she's just like this BITCH.
She's sending angry emojis.
Because I haven't been talking to her. So she's very frustrated with me. Okay, so it's racial justice and mental health. How are they linked?
How do you think they're linked?
Very much so. Very much so. I feel like if you live in a society that the system is made in a way that its current moves against your flow, it'll affect you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually even. You know, because you just feel like you are in constant fright, you know, and fight mode.
It's actually referred to as racial battle fatigue, where you experience exhaustion from always having to face racial opposition or opposition on the base of your race. And I think we have all experienced that, where you're tired, you know, especially on social media, where racism is just rife left, right. You know, I do have an interesting question to ask you though.
Okay.
What was your first experience of racism?
My first conscious experience, because I've experienced racism since my first breath. The fact that I was born in a public hospital with not enough resources was my first experience with racism. But my first conscious experience, I think I've spoken about this. The boy who said I must go back to the shack I must go back to the box in Soweto. I don't even know. I forgot what he said verbatim, but he literally said, "Go." Oh yeah, he's like
at a camp or something.
Yes, go back to the box that you crawled out of there in Soweto. And I was like, nigga, I've never been to Soweto.
Nigga.
Well, white man, I have never been to Soweto like that, you know? And that was my first instance of like racism, and it shocked me because it was at a church camp.
Yeah.
And people are normally so friendly. They're so friendly at church camps, you know, like everybody's family because we are all here for one person, God, you know? So it's like, hey, bo, like the God who came to break all these boundaries that separate us and make us one body of Christ. You say you're here for that God and this is what you say. So it shocked me. And then that made me realize how actually, guys, why Abelogu don't like us. He really don't. Like, I I have no beef with them, but I have to be honest in the fact that we are not liked by these people. They tolerate us because they need to. They act because they need to. They have sympathy for us, yes. Very few, a minority of them actually don't mind black people.
My first run-in with racism, I think, how old was I? 2012. How old was I in 2012, bro?
12?
I was 10. And we were on vacation in a small town outside of Durban called Hebridean. And the area was largely populated by white people, right? And thankfully, you know, we had the opportunity to vacation there. Not because it was largely vacationed by white people. No, that's not an opportunity because they live there. I am not doing a Peladi thing, okay? I'm just saying that, like, it was a really beautiful place. That's what I'm saying, you know. And we one day we decided we wanted to go to the pool, you know, because we were in an apartment, top floor, ocean view. The ocean was a walk away, like a literal hike down, and then we had a pool in the building, in the estate. In the estate. And so we decided we're going to the pool. When we get to the pool, there are people in the pool, and they all happen to be white people, right? For context, my father's colored and my mom is Zulu, right? And we're chocolate skinned kids, you know. And as soon as we enter the pool area, I jump into the pool. I'm like, I've been waiting for this moment. When I jump in, the white kids jump out. Their family packs their things and they leave.
Oh,
quick! It's not like when we were arriving, they were like, "Oh, come kids, let's go." It's not like that was happening before. It was. We jumped in, they immediately jumped out. And I was like, and they hurriedly packed their stuff.
They're like, the blacks are here.
And they were out. I was like, in the moment, I hadn't learned much about racism. I was 10 years old. But in the moment, I knew exactly what it was. Like, I didn't have a word for it at the time. But I was like, it's because... It's because you think we're going to make the water dirty or something, you know? And it made me livid. I think that run-in... Guys, racism is so traumatic. I think that run-in changed my view completely. Completely. I don't think I've ever, and this is me, you know, being completely transparent. I don't think I've ever befriended a white person. I don't think I've ever sat in a room long enough to have a conversation with them. And it's not because of that instance. I'm not going to use that as that 10-year-old experience as an excuse not to be, you know, open to them. I think there are. I've had multiple run-ins with racism, and I think what really put the nail in that coffin for me was when I learned about eugenics and pseudoscience, the origins of racism, Charles Darwin and his thoughts on, you know, selective evolution. Whatever the case is, survival of the fittest, who he thought the fittest was, what the fittest did in order to prove that they were the fittest, what eugenics were, what pseudoscience is, you know, the creation of viral diseases like HIV, things like that. The creation,
yes, man-made, yes.
It made me livid. And I was I think I learned all of that when I was 17.
We are being wiped out.
I couldn't believe my ears. I was like, this cannot be it. And it's traumatic. It's angering. It makes you it puts you in defense mode for a lot of your life, especially, oh my goodness. And yeah.
Now it makes sense. And
no, it's a bit of a touchy subject for me.
I understand where her anger is coming from, because they are conditioned to think of us a certain way and to see us a certain way, right? And to see themselves as the better species. They are conditioned to believe that. So they react in that manner. It shows in their actions. And then what we then do, we operate from response. We are responding to their provocation. We are responding to the unjustness of their behavior.
More than responding, I think we're also always waiting.
Yes, because
we're always anticipating.
Because we expect it to come. Like, it's response, you know? And that's why, honestly, very rarely, if a black man and a white man are in a fight, the black man's wrong. Because we are responding. We know we operate from a place of response,
wait,
you know?
That is, wait. Let's run that statement back. You said very early when you see,
like, if you ever see a confrontation between black people and white people,
very rarely is
the black man is the antagonist in that situation.
Are you talking about that from the outside perspective, or you think that's fact?
No, I'm talking about it from not necessarily as in it's fact.
Okay.
I'm just talking about it from like the way the system is and the way we are provoked that really would we be coming from a place of we went there to antagonize them.
Oh, okay.
You know, we went there to start the fight. You know, like, yes, people are people, but really, if it's like a gender war, really does it come from our end? Because like we operate from a place of responding to trauma. And how we respond to trauma that has been caused by your people.
Amen. For your people, I don't know if white people watch So Digest.
I don't think they do. I don't want to lie. Oh, guys. Oh. It's very hard, guys. It's very hard. Like, I grew up I didn't experience racism up front growing up. I had an opposite experience from you. Like, I genuinely thought white people were like normal people. Like, how I thought they thought, you know, and I never understood why the generation that experienced apartheid live die with eyes. I never understood why they still held on to that anger, because I was like, no, but they're not like that anymore. No, but I was the child who would defend white people, you know, because I never experienced it like lifetime. Because like I grew up I was born in Kilani, and Kilani predominantly white, and maybe it's because I was a light-skinned baby, I don't know. But then I was like living with like white people used to babysit me. You know, I was babysat by white
such
people.
An opposite experience.
Like I literally was babysat by white people. My sister's godmother's Indian. Like I never had like a negative experience with white people growing up. I just thought they were just normal people. And as I grew up, like even after that one racist experience with that boy, I was like, it's just that boy. It's not there. Like I literally guys, if you're a white person, you're watching this, I would defend you. I would understand, because I'm like, no, but we cannot hold you accountable for what your ancestors did. You know? And I'm like, yeah, now that I've grown and I see how it's systematic, how it's not just a an outspoken provocation, it's jabs on the side, how it's behavior, how we are looked at, how you walk in, you go into a pool and then people live, how when we enter schools they leave, how they, oh my God, it's everywhere.
Girl, it's everywhere. I've lost public speaking competitions because the person who came after me was white. Bro, my whole life, my entire life, I was an excellent public speaker, but I never won anything. Like I would win, the best I would win is probably third place, probably, you know, like silver medal. But the gold, when I knew it was mine, was never given to me because, you know,
the counterpart was white.
My whole life. And you know what angers me, right? And let's try not to veer off the topic, racial justice and mental health. That because of racial injustices, even in social circumstances and systemic circumstances, we are always, as much as it is traumatic, when you live life in defense mode, the way your brain is wired changes. You are more likely to experience things like depression, anxiety, PTSD, because you're always fighting. And when you fight, you lose. And I think of people who are victims of the apartheid system to date, who still live in these disadvantaged areas because of the Bantu Areas Act, where, you know, black people were separated from, you know, the developed parts of the country, where
they were literally removed from their homes and put in like townships, and now they don't even have their basic necessities in those townships. And oh my God, guys,
you know what angers me also? Oh my, we're so passionate. What angers me also is now in 2025, like Sam said, you would think we've made significant progress in integrating society, right, as different races. But when we look at what AfriForum has done
Oh.
in the light of Trump removing his aid from South Africa,
The ambassador being kicked out of America, the South
I'm
African
like,
ambassador.
what progress, bro? What progress? Because, and he did this, Trump did that as a response to whatever he saw in the media regarding the land expropriation without compensation that was put into legislation recently. He said, "Oh, the white people, there's a lot of injustice happening in South Africa. They are taking from the white people," and I'm just like, are we ever going to realize any reparation for apartheid?
None.
Are we ever going to receive any retribution?
No.
For what happened to bro? I get so, and
Like-
it's 2025. You're telling me that it is now white people are more likely to receive citizen status in America in 2025 because that president has been misinformed, gravely misinformed by whoever. I'm so mad. Oh
No,
and
apparently
they have
there's
the
a
audacity to say
journalist.
they are the white people. They've been going on TikTok to have the audacity to say that vele they are oppressed because there are a lot of farm murders.
And I'm
Please
like,
look at these statistics of farm murders. Who is being murdered during those farm murders?
yes.
And how often do they happen in comparison to the
No, but that's
loud
that.
man?
Like, and I saw this one TikTok where this white person said, where this white person said that, like, basically equality and basically them like trying to make like the society more equal in a sense is harmful for them because their ancestors are the ones who built this country. You know, this country is what it is because of like their ancestors. And I'm like, bruh, who built this country? Who are the miners who mined for all that gold that was stolen from our land and sold, and they were not like properly compensated for that? Like all the work you're talking about that happened, the groundwork happened, Black people.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing of like, yes, you can say that we built this country. And the history of building this country may not have been a beautiful one, but both civilizations, both white people and Black people built this country. And we therefore both have a share in whatever's happening in this country. Being a no, but then equally so. We cannot be the majority, like in a sense of like, we cannot be the majority of the population and own 8% of the land. That's where I'm fighting. I have no qualms. I won't lie. I have no qualms in white people being able to buy homes in this country.
Okay.
You know, I have no qualms with white people being able to get South African citizenship. I have no problem with that. I'm just saying that in a country where majority of the population is Black, it does not make sense that the wealth of the country does not belong to us and the land in this country does not belong to us. And the reason why it doesn't belong to us is because of the apartheid system and the apartheid regime, you know? And it's a thing of like, let us work towards distributing the land and taking the land back from our oppressors and getting it back to Black people.
Okay.
I am for land reform.
Okay.
I am for it, but I'm not saying all the land. I'm not saying that every white person who owns a land must lose their land. I'm just saying that there must be. You saying they must all lose their land?
I just had a facial expression. Don't mind me.
I'm just saying that it's a thing of like I love not. I love an equity, like not equality, but equity.
Equitable,
Yeah, an equitable society.
Yeah.
You know, not an equal society. Like, oh, y'all equally get to go to school. Like that's what we have now is an equal society, not necessarily to a certain degree, not an equitable society. Because yes, we all have access to education, but what type of education, the quality of education is different. You know, equal society says that, oh no, we are equal because everyone has education. But the thing is, we are different in the type of education. We're different in our home backgrounds, the resources, the support, and everything that we receive. Hence, we're not in an equitable society, you know? And I'm for living in an equitable society. I'm not saying that, oh, white people must pack their bags and leave South Africa. I have no problems with white people staying in this country. It's just that I have a problem when their being here equals the oppression of Black people.
Okay. one, I don't think anyone should receive any compensation for any credit, compensation, applause, recognition for building on something you stole.
Oh yes.
So
that makes sense.
when you say we both built this country, I'm a little bit. I'm gonna disagree there.
Okay.
Because the people who worked the land were the black people.
Yes.
The people who, yes.
No, you can ask.
Oh,
bye.
bye.
It's
Thank
okay,
you
it's
for having
okay.
us. Have a lovely day.
Have a lovely day.
Tato's sitting in the
The
car.
car, yeah.
Yeah. Bye. Let me
That's a
run this
fair
shit back.
approach. That's a fair mindset. That
Yeah,
you stole the land, you stole the resources.
yeah. We're not going to give you any kind of recognition for what you built on the land. It may be nice, you know what I'm saying. You put some systems in place for great development. I think during the apartheid era, South Africa was the largest producer of arms in the world, and we can credit that to the apartheid regime, because obviously, you know, if you're always oppressing people, you have to build weapons to continue
oppressing them. Yeah.
oppressing them.
Yeah.
So, again, you don't get credit for that, but you built on something you stole, and we can't say we both built the country, because the minds that were behind, you know, that historically they have stolen the light bulb. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So many concepts, so many things. They have stolen cures for many diseases from black doctors. So I don't think that this was an equally built country. You built it off the backs of black people.
Okay.
That's why you see, back in 2016, 2017, when Malema first said that, when he first said land expropriation without compensation, I was like, finally, somebody's eyes are open.
Somebody's
here.
speaking
Do you
sense.
know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I think I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Secondly, I think it was Litabo who said it. Litabo who was
Yes, I remember.
Said, when you're so used to functioning from a position of privilege, equality feels like oppression.
Yes.
So all of these people that are complaining that
they feel oppressed because now we are equal.
now,
Yes.
Now we're here.
Yes.
And I think
another
another mental health effect of racism, right, and racial injustice is imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And we saw it, and I'm going to make this example because to me it was mind-blowing. We saw it on the Mammi Club season 3 with Peladi. The moment Peladi opened her mouth to say, you think being with a white man is an achievement, I was
like, what? The fact that is something, the fact that's something you think about. It means that that's what you think and that's how you feel, and you are projecting.
She was heavily projecting. And then she said, as African women, we are known to be submissive. So when you are there in Scotland shaking and submitting to white men for their pleasure, you're humiliated, something like that. And she was just basically speaking so ill of what's her name, Noxie, having a great time in Scotland, because she Peladi painted it as Noxie was pandering to the white male.
Yes.
And in my mind, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you are projecting.
Yes.
And I think somebody I wish I could remember people's names, but there was a man who really put who really shone a light on this projection from Peladi about how everything she said was a reflection of her mental thingy.
So it's like
her mental state, right? Her view of herself in the light of white people. Even they were making fun of her mannerisms, how she thinks she's so much better than them. And while she was talking to them, she had a wine glass in her hand like this. And those mannerisms, when white people get drunk, they usually have the glass in their hand and they're talking like this, and they're all making fun of her for it. In my head, I'm like, are you forgetting who she's married to?
Yeah.
It's not that she thinks she's better than you, and because you think she thinks she's better than you, it essentially insinuates that you think the white man is
better than you. Yes.
You are projecting. Oh my gosh. So imposter syndrome is one of the largest effects of racial injustice, where we think we are incapable. We think when the white man is not there, we cannot keep up. Do you know what I'm saying? If the principal of a school is black, the black people are not taking their kids to that school. I'm just like, hey, stop doing that. Stop internalizing all of that racism. Stop underestimating our capabilities, because you are doing it, bro. It is so hilarious to me that black people refuse to take their kids to certain schools because majority of the teachers are black. Black people refuse to be in certain places where majority of and
people are black. Yeah,
you're doing it. Each other.
Yes,
you know.
It's coming back and it's hurting
And
us, the
that's-
system. It's mental.
It's mental.
For me, it's a mental effect that I'm seeing with as a product of racism is being overly grateful. Black people, we are thankful and grateful for everything. You are thankful and grateful for your rights. You are thankful and grateful.
Give an example.
Like, okay, it's like how, for instance, let's say like in a township, right? There was no water and they were suffering like with water and everything like that, or in a rural area where they're suffering with water and everything like that. Someone the government comes and finally chills water that was supposed to be there. Watch, they throw a celebration and thank the person who came and like did the whole thing. Like they make it seem like they'll kind of like pander and like dance to all of that. Like, and I'm just like, yes, you can say thank you. Like, thank you so much for doing this. But like, riskaba overly grateful. Because then it makes it then what we do then when we become overly grateful is then we are scared to complain about other things that are wrong in the system. We are scared to now point that, oh, by the way, we also don't have electricity because we are overly grateful for the fact that water just arrived a year ago. We are afraid to be in our like we're afraid to be vocal as Black people with certain issues. It's like going to work and getting a job. You are, as a Black person, you are afraid to complain because you will lose your job. And it's like these systems that are put in place to oppress us mentally. We can't even speak out when we're in uncomfortable situations because we are overly grateful.
There's something else that also angers me that we do. It's when they're not around, we complain. Which is exactly what you're saying. How can they do this? How can they do this? How can they do this? And then when it's time to stand up,
not even one person.
And I was just like, what has happened? What has happened? And I think I told the story. Was it here?
Yes.
Where I was like, there was a teacher who was racist, and I lost my mind, and nobody backed me up. In my mind, I'm like, there is a sense of cowardice. There's a sense of timidity. Not even timidity, it's cowardice. In the face of white authority that is a reflection of how we think of ourselves. And for me, it's so worrying. It's so concerning because in that space right now, we haven't gone into the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still in varsity at the time, I was still in high school. So what scared me was what happens when you enter the workplace. When there is grave injustice there, you will not speak up because
I know I might not be able to keep a corporate job because I am very vocal about like injustice. And it's crazy that that's a reality.
Yeah.
That you won't be able to keep a job, you won't be able to keep a bursary when you are vocal about a certain injustice. Like, I remember I was
That's why, what are these things called now? Trade unions are incredibly important. Incredibly important. You need legal backing. If you know you're gonna, especially if you're like us and you know you don't take nonsense.
Yeah.
If there's a microaggression in place, you're gonna call it out. If you know you don't take things laying down, have a trade union behind you so that you know, and familiarize yourself with the law.
Yeah.
What is within your right and what is not within your right. Familiarize yourself with the company politics, with the company's structure, with the company's law itself, because companies have their own rules.
Yes.
Familiarize yourself with all of that so that when it's time to stand up, you are standing up from an advantage.
Yes.
You are well aware of what you're doing. The law, here's what I can appreciate about South Africa's justice system, is that when it comes to workers' rights in the corporate space, I remember people were protesting in my final year. I think I don't remember what they were protesting about. But it didn't take them more than an hour for the police to arrive, for the news to arrive. And I was just like, yeah, demonstrations are working. So when it comes to the justice system, I think we are doing commendable work in making sure that the workspace is fair, it's equitable, it's inclusive. I think we're doing great work with that. And so if you are going to speak up against racial injustice,
start now. Hey, Mara, guys.
Have a trade you.
Yeah, let's stop being grateful, guys. And
Yeah.
let's not and like overly grateful. And let's like don't be scared to push the boundaries. I always say that if the people who didn't come before us didn't push the boundaries, we wouldn't be sitting where we're sitting today. And no change comes from complacency. Carry on pushing boundaries. I remember I was crying about like, oh guys, allowance here too, with the economy that we're living in, our allowance is too small, and you expect you promise a child, literally this is their marketing, all you need to do is worry about studying. That's the marketing. All you need to do is worry about studying when you have this funding. But then because we will provide you, we'll pay your registration, we'll do this, we'll do that, we even give you an allowance. And I'm like, okay, if that's the marketing you're putting in place, let the allowance be sufficient enough that all they have to worry about is studying. And when I remember having like a conversation about this with somebody in management, and then her response to me was, oh, when I was in varsity, our allowance was 300 rand.
When were you in varsity?
Firstly, when were you in varsity? Secondly, were you in a catering res? You probably might have been in a catering res. Or even if it was 300 rand back in the day, it's fine. You didn't cry about it, it's okay. But it doesn't mean that the way it's sitting now, it's fine. Yes, there was an increase. Of course, inflation happens. But like, we can always push for more. We can always push to make this better. Like, I think our generation is so scared to want better for themselves and to push for better for themselves because we are overly grateful. Like, we're overly grateful. And there's nothing wrong with being grateful. I'm very grateful. But you mustn't be scared to push the boundaries and bring light to certain things. Otherwise, no change happens, even though the change is not for you. Like, I have no reason business complaining about this now. This is my last year, you know? But I'm doing this so that the people who come after me don't have to go through that. And it's like, we are so individualistic, and it's a trauma response. I understand it's coming from a place of trauma, and it's not your fault that you think like that. But hey, educate yourself.
I think another, you make amazing points. I think another that might not be so easy to digest is some of the internalized racism that we have internalized, let me say it that way, has a lot to do with beauty. Because it's digest very female centric.
Yeah.
There is a woman who love my algorithm down. She was talking about how hair, right? She was at the beach and she has my hair. She's got a TWA. And she's at the beach, and she was talking about how at the beach she saw these girls in these 23-inch bust downs, and they were just, focusing on taking pictures, and they couldn't even swim because she was like, we can't swim, we're gonna ruin our hair, we can't even sit down, our hair's gonna get sand, and from that experience, she said that it's very concerning that the way in which we view beauty has detached us from nature, from earth, from living. Our experiences are limited because of the things that we have prioritized, and this can be pertinent to beauty or not. But I think when interrogate what you think beauty is and where that comes from, because you are out of touch because you have put so much emphasis on a beauty that is not your own. The mere fact that we refer to our natural hair as natural hair, white people don't refer to their hair as natural hair. Do you know what I'm saying? So our hair is our hair is our hair. Your hair is your hair. My hair is my hair. Do you know the subtleties in our language as well in reference to our beauty? When we call natural hair is true to amongst ourselves, it's so it's so humiliating, and not humiliating in that you're embarrassing the person who you're saying that to. It's humiliating for yourself because why do you not see the beauty? I want to share, I'm gonna do a story on there's this audio, I forgot who's speaking. He says, who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the size of your nose or the size of your lips? And I think let's interrogate that as well, because that also has to do with your mentality, like what influenced that?
Did you
know?
And it's not even hair. Like now that you're saying it, it's like it's moving into other things. Like our lips are the filler lips.
Yeah.
You know, our bodies are the BBL bodies. Like it's a thing of like it's internalized racism, and we don't realize that when we're referring to our own, like it's body, it's lips, it's hair. You know, and however you choose to wear it.
Yeah.
You should be proud.
It scares me when black women bleach their skin. It scares me down bad.
Oh, it scares me down bad, guys. You know how much I love a beautiful black woman with melanated skin? Like your skin is so beautiful. It's so healthy.
And you know, they'll make excuses like, no, I just like fairer skin. It has nothing to do with races. It has nothing to do with the white people. It's just, I feel like I would be more beautiful this way. This is my ideal beauty. And I'm just like, okay, if those are your reasons, find the reason behind the reason behind the reason.
Yeah.
Because, and we did it to ourselves as well. I think when I was younger. Oh, light skin. If you were light skinned, you were beautiful. What? It was the epitome of beauty. No matter what her features were, she got light skin, she's beautiful. And I think, again, we did it to ourselves. Like, even like I said, the names that we called people who were darker skinned, like Umnyamane, or bro, the kids are so evil. But anyway, they're a reflection of their parents. When when a child is born with dark skin, the comments that people make about that child, and it's just we've been doing it to ourselves. And I think conversation is important. Like Sam said, let's start the dialogue so that the dialogue influences change. And the dialogue now is that, number one, language is very important. I think we should change our language. Two, and I'm going to say this to myself, for somebody who has dealt with anger against the white man.
Yes.
Let's, I don't want to say heal.
No, the wounds, they were still being stabbed.
But I think if you are in a community that has white people there, keep them aware. Keep them aware. Never, because we can't forget. We don't forget. We are reminded on a daily basis.
Yes.
They should also be. I can't pay for the sins of my grandparents.
We are paying for them right now.
Really?
We are currently paying for them.
Really? Do you want to come see where half my family lives and you're telling me that you can't pay for the sins of your grandfather?
No.
My friend.
No.
But as much as you're keeping them aware, do your best as well to mobilize them. Like Sam said, to let go of an individualistic way of life is to include, is to be a community. So mobilize your white friends, your white colleagues, mobilize them into being part of the change as well. I don't know if I'll ever, honestly, my whole life people have been racist towards me, and because I've worn my natural hair my whole life. Again, natural hair. I've worn my hair my whole life. And so it's going to take a while for the anger to subside and for me to be able to have a conversation with a white person about race, particularly without having a bias. My ear is so attuned to microaggressions and I can point it out far, far, far. So I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but like Sam said, I love what Sam said about conversation. Talk.
Yes, conversation. For me, I feel like the only conversation I can have with white people right now about racism is a conversation where they're like, what can we do? I don't want a conversation where you explain yourself, you explain where you're coming from. I don't need explanations to make yourself feel better. That's not where my conversation with the white person about racism will come from. The conversation I would want to hear is, what can we do? What can we do now? Yes, this has happened. What can we do? What should we be doing? How do we move forward? Those are the conversations I want to have with white people. Love them down because I'm a child of God and I love all God's people. I'm like this. I can marry a white man if he's a good person. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
I can marry a white man if he's a good person.
You know, I actually
All the best, my friend.
no, I hear you. I don't think I can, but I think I can. No, that's a conversation.
Very, very much Dr. Umar.
Yeah, that's a
My
conversation.
black queen.
My black queen, yeah. No, I don't think I can because my kids go suffer.
Black king.
I want black beautiful babies. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for watching. Please share your thoughts down below on what you think the link between racial injustice. I think we're going to retitle it because I didn't speak about racial justice.
Yeah.
What do you think the link between racial injustice and mental health is? What your experiences have been with racism and how have you dealt with it? How has it affected you? And what are the steps you're taking towards, creating a bridge between you and the person who hurt you?
Yeah.
Particularly the white people. But anyway, let me give the cues.
Love everybody. Love everybody. Be open-minded. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Do the right things. Go interact with our social media platforms because we have something cute over there for you guys, especially if you reside in Blue.
Yes, please don't forget to tag us. Tag .digest, hashtag KFC, all of that. Involve us when you're there and you're at the Colonel, what is it called?
Colonel Cam.
At the Colonel Cam, show us. You're at the ASMR pod, show us. We're there. We're with you. We will repost. We're engageable. You get it? Okay. Bye. See ya.
Bye.